Can you shrink the sparse disk image of a Mac OS X guest OS in VMware Fusion? I use VMware Fusion on my Mac to run a virtual Windows 7 machine and the Microsoft IE compatibility Windows XP virtual machines. In VMware Tools on the Windows guest OSes, there's a shrink option that lets you reduce the size of the sparse disk image used by the guest OS to save hard drive space on your host OS. I've recently created another virtual machine, this time running Snow Leopard server. I was wondering if I could shrink the spare disk image used by this machine too, but I can't find a VMware Tools app on the Mac guest OS, even though VMware Tools have been installed, as VMware's shared folders feature is working. Is there any way to shrink the sparse disk image used by Mac OS X guest OSes in VMware Fusion?
Aha, indeed you can, as per this thread on the VMware discussion boards about this issue, assuming the file is a sparse disk image, and not pre-allocated. The VM does not have snapshots. In short, erase free space on the guest OS's disk from within the guest OS using disk utility, then shrink the guest OS's disk from the host OS using VMware Disk Manager at the command line. In the guest OS. Open Disk Utility. Select the guest OS's partition. Go to the Erase tab. Click on the Erase Free Space button. Make sure Zero Out Deleted Files is selected and erase the free space. Once it's finished, close Disk Utility and shut down the guest OS. Or in the terminal of the guest OS when the partition is named Macintosh HD. In the host OS, open terminal and type the /library/application support /VMware /Fusion and an alias VMware Disk Manager equals /library/application support /VMware Fusion /VMware Disk Manager alias VMware Disk Manager equals /application /VMware /Fusion.app /contents /library /VMware Disk Manager VMware Disk Manager K. Type space then the path to the virtual disk file of your VM. Hit return. The guest OS's virtual disk file is found within its virtual machine file. E.g. if your virtual machine file is at /users/u/vm, the path to its virtual disk is /users/u/vm.vm/vm.vmdk. For the record, this shrunk a Snow Leopard VM of mine from 15 GB to 6 GB.
In variants of VMware Fusion, succeeding 3.x, the locale of VMware Disk Manager, as mentioned in the accepted answer is /application /VMware /Fusion.app /contents /library /VMware Disk Manager. So all you need is then go to Finder, navigate to your VM, which normally is in /documents /virtual machine /. Right-click on the file, select Show Package Contents, then drag the .vmdk file to terminal and hit Enter.
In VMware Fusion since version 4 you can go to VM Preference, General, Clean Up Virtual Machine. Additionally there is a chart where you can see what size is expected after shrinking. They added a CLI option that was super easy. Do this from inside the guest OS. From Mudortsov at the VMware Community Forums. A slightly easier method, the shrink functionality is built into the VMware Tools command line utility. This will first do a wipe of empty space on the file system, same as creating a zero-filled file, and show a progress in the guest terminal. When that's done, the VMDK shrink will be invoked without shutting down the VM, and show up as a progress bar over the VM window. That is a path to the file system to wipe empty space on. If you have multiple partitions, you can wipe them individually and do a final shrink at the end. VMware Tools CLI disk list, to see the available locations for wipe. VMware Tools CLI disk wipe to wipe each location, repeat multiple times, without the shrink operation. VMware Tools CLI disk shrink only, to do the final shrink operation. This is also explained by VMware Tools CLI help disk.
VMware channel, 큰 문제를 맞은 에서 과일입니다.